Welcome to another exciting action podcast in episode 30 today. And in honor of the new sequel coming out next week, we decided to venture down the path of Hocus Pocus from 1993. And of course, there's only two people that wanted to be on this podcast, but also that know this movie back and forth, and that's of course the Cardiels, both Lauren to my left here, and John, you'll be on the right of me now that I think of it. Right. Welcome, guys. This is of course Lauren Cardiel's pick / John's pick, and of course my brother did not want to be a part of this one. He said hell no, I believe was his quote, and so it's just going to be us three tonight. So with that being said, we're
missing out.
Yeah,
Peter's missing out. I'm just gonna go on record by saying he's missing out. So,
and I'm going on record to say that I love this movie, but it's not my pick, Paul. You duped me out of my pick.
Well,
it was my pick.
Life is tough sometimes, John.
Yeah,
life is tough. So a couple quick little facts about this movie. This was directed by Kenny Ortega. Which, fun fact, Lauren Cardiel actually knows Kenny Ortega. So I
wouldn't say no.
We're gonna listen to some stories, maybe from Lauren. Who knows? And then this was written by David Kirshner, who also wrote, guess what film? An American Tale.
Fievel.
Yeah. So David Kirshner.
Oh my gosh, I knew it. Two great works written by one great man. Okay.
Also written by. I'm sorry. The story is by David Kirshner and also Mick Garris, who also did Amazing Stories and Batteries Not Included. The screenplay was by Neil Cuthbert, who wrote Mystery Men and Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Oh.
And this, of course, stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and a young Thora Birch, who was also at this time in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. Amongst other films. But this movie is ultimately about a curious youngster who moves to Salem, where he struggles to fit in before awakening a trio of diabolical witches that were executed in the 17th century. So, like I mentioned before, why are we watching this film? Well, Hocus Pocus is set to be released on disneyplus on September 30th. And so, also with Halloween upcoming, we just thought, hey, this is time to watch this one. So, I personally had never watched this, so I don't have any tales growing up and watching this. I missed growing up with this film. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. Who knows, right?
Mm-mm.
But so this was the first time that I watched it, and there's a lot that I like the story of this film. I thought the story was actually I like how it's set with the Salem stuff, and I always like kind of fictional films that kind of have a historical base to them. So there was a lot of parts I liked to it. I'm going to get into some of the other things later. I don't want to ruin this podcast from the get-go. But I'm going to go first to Lauren. Lauren, why don't you give us your thoughts? What does this film mean to you? Why did you want to pick this movie?
My God, I love this movie. I love this movie. I feel like to draw a comparison like this, you know how during Christmas time, you have A Christmas Story or Home Alone playing on cycle, starting December 1st.
Yeah, for sure.
This is my Christmas Story, A Christmas Story. And the most amazing thing is that I birthed 3 lovely children that watch this movie year round. So, we've probably already seen it.
That's a lot of Hocus Pocus right there.
It sure is. It's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I watched it as a child. I knew of it, like you said. Parts of it are filmed in Whittier, which is where I grew up. And so we were on set for some of those trick-or-treating scenes in the beautiful historic town of Uptown Whittier. But I don't really remember watching it a ton when I was little. I think it was more when I got older. And I don't know, I just love it. I love a costume. I love the makeup. I love Bette Midler's song. I love it all. And I don't even know how I introduced it to the kids or if I thought they would like it. Cause my kids are still kind of young.
Yeah.
But even my 5-year-old, she literally quotes lines from the movie. And every day when they go to bed, it's all right, kids, what do we want to watch to go to bed tonight? 2 out of 3 kids, Hocus Pocus. So, I I couldn't have asked for, better children.
Wow.
But I do love the movie. I love the movie, and I know that the fans, including myself, have wanted a sequel for a really long time. And I think it's really cool that actually all three original witches signed on to do it, because I think it's such a cult classic that if it's done incorrectly, it could get, why mess with, what's already perfect? So I'm interested to see what happens on September 30th.
Strong take there. Strong take there.
No. So many people will agree with me. Talk to me down in the comments, all you Hocus Pocus lovers. I know you're out there. Denise Rodriguez, if you're watching this, Karen, you're one of them. But I'm super excited to see what the sequel is. I've watched a couple of the trailers, and I know it kind of has like this like backstory to it, and like, a flashback, a prequel kind of vibe. So super excited.
Interesting. Well, John Bear, I don't know how you're going to top that, but
is
interesting.
She just said everything. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Hocus Pocus. If I had to give it a score 6.9 out of 10, if I had to give it a Metascore 43, if I was a Hollywood Reporter 80, if I was a Chicago Sun-Times,
stop reading the Google facts.
I dig the movie. Like, I remember watching it as a kid and kind of like it in the background, but I really didn't like it until it was introduced in my household. I think we just had burnout of all the movies that were constantly being played.
Good movies, you mean?
This is a good movie. How dare you? There was just burnout of movies that were constantly being played in the house of 3 children. Yeah. And it got to Halloween season one year, had to be a few years ago. And we're like, let's throw on Hocus Pocus. Hopefully the kids like it, just to change things up. And they absolutely fell in love with it. I like the movie a lot. So it just became like a household classic instantly. And it's a cult classic too. I dig it. Like, I try to...
I would agree with that.
I don't try to critique it too much. Like, I know when the movie came out, it's a great movie. For 93, this is an awesome movie. And like Lauren said, this is just something that should be up to the caliber when it comes to the Halloween season, just like the Christmas movies, the big ones. And I see it like that. And to be honest, it feels like this movie's big. Obviously, it's about to explode again because of the second one coming out.
Yeah.
But you don't sense it, Paul, because you're not really attached to it. But this movie is huge, and it's getting bigger every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Sure. No, I'm aware of that.
Insane.
I'm always, like I said, regardless of whether I'm a fan of something, I always do understand the cultural relevance of something. And I do know this does have a big following. I was even talking with my mom today, and she does not remember, this just missed our household apparently. So who knows? But I will say
right over his house.
Yeah, none of us saw it.
None of the Escarcegas were able to.
No, this one
embrace this.
But I would say overall, though, you're mentioning, we don't have Halloween movies like we watch every year. I don't know why per se. There's not a specific reason, but it sounds like you guys have more of a tradition of that. We don't have that. I've never been even when we're gonna be we're gonna be doing our top 5 Halloween films, and it was kind of a struggle for me because none of them I'm just like, oh yeah, I watch that every year around Halloween. Obviously Christmas I have that. Even Easter a little bit. I'll watch Passion of Christ and some of those biblical movies just because. But overall, I don't watch a lot of other holiday quote unquote movies. I don't watch The Patriot on July 4th or
But I bet you watch Independence Day every now and then around July 4th.
Yeah, I don't watch Independence Day on Independence Day. Actually, sometimes I do.
Yeah, it's like I have.
But
hey, people, to your point about Halloween films, it feels like a lot of people, or just people I know, we just start to watch scary movies and horror classics around the Halloween season.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing about the list.
The good loving, and all these lists kind of just jump in. It doesn't have to be a Halloween film, but list I was reading, it's all about horror films.
Yeah, horror films, ghosts, costumes, goblins, witches. Kind of the theme of Halloween.
Of what we would dress. Yeah.
Awesome.
But that's what I love about this movie is it's just like a feel good
Well, this to me is
Halloween movie.
Cheesy. Yeah.
This is a legitimate Halloween movie. I mean,
this is the Christmas story of Halloween season.
Yeah, for sure.
And so wise.
some fun facts for this movie.
Okay.
So this actually had a pretty decent sized budget. This was a $28 million film in 1993, which is not a small film. I mean, that's a decent sized film today. And that's what I would expect that budget to be like today. So that's kind of crazy that was back in 93. So they had pretty high expectations, I think, for it. Disney did when they created it. And this grossed over 45 million worldwide, 44 domestic. So it did okay. Didn't crush it, but like Lauren's point, this really kind of hit its stride, on Disney Channel and some of the other networks around Halloween. It just killed the rerun game and just became more and more popular every year, which again, a lot of films happen. Some films aren't built for the box office. Others have longer lasting legs, which this film would definitely qualify as having longer lasting legs. And, John already ruined the next section that I'm going to read, but I'm going to reread it anyway, just in case people did not pick up on his sarcasm. But this had a 6.9 IMDb rating, a 43 Metascore.
What?
And it got the highest critic review was from the Hollywood Reporter, Dwayne Berg, who says it's a veritable bag full of box office treats.
Ooh, I love that.
Talking about.
Oh, he knew.
Wow, that's a nice.
Yeah.
And the other two main reviews that I got.
Those are brutal.
They're brutal. They're brutal. But our boy Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times gives a 25. And if you're familiar with Robert Ebert's ranking systems, that's 1 out of 4 stars. He said, Hocus Pocus is a film desperately in need of self-discipline. It's one of those projects where you imagine everyone laughing and applauding each other after every scene because they're so convinced they're wild and crazy guys. But watching this movie is like attending a party you weren't invited to and where you don't know anybody and they're all in on the joke but won't explain it to you.
Wow.
That's a rough one from Roger. I think he's a little harsh, but I do kind of understand what he's saying because, this would kind of go into my director's chair. But I just thought there's a lot I liked about the movie. Again, like I mentioned, I liked the story itself. I thought the three ladies and even like the other, the boyfriend, right? The one that died. Like, I just thought it was like too much. And I don't know who I was talking to, but I mentioned what I would love to have seen this film done by Tim Burton with a Danny Elfman soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
And I think this film would have really like hit that next level on production and all that because even like the lighting, I wanted more contrast. Like everyone was really well lit. It just this is where Tim Burton thrives in this scenario. And you look at Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Sleepy Hollow, Nightmare Before Christmas, just all these are all up Tim Burton's alley, and I just felt like this would have been a property I would have loved to see in his hands because I think he could have really taken it to the next level.
Agree.
I see what you're saying, but it would take away the lighthearted factor of this film. It's supposed to be fun-loving. You're supposed to feel like you want to hug or give a hug after this film. I don't think you're going to get that from a Burton film. But like I say, it'd be magical if he did produce it direct it. But I think a lot of the cult classic following is because it's so lighthearted. So,
yeah, I mean, I think there maybe a balance could be there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. That was just a personal wish list of mine. But again, I understand movies. Everybody has different opinions, and it's hard to please everybody. I'm not the audience for Hocus Pocus, so I'll shove my opinion up my own arse.
You need a Halloween hug, dude.
Yeah, I need a Halloween hug. And then the other one, the lowest critique was from the New York Times, Janet Maslin. Apparently too much Eye of Newt got into the formula for Hocus Pocus, transforming a potentially wicked Bette Midler vehicle into an unholy mess. That's too bad since Midler's appearance in a role like the one she has here could have been pure witchcraft.
Wow.
What the heck?
So yeah, it's tough going from the critics on this one, but like I said, at the end of the day, the critics don't matter, and I think the audience matters, and the audience has shown that they do like this more than the critics. And again, to each his own, and good job. Ultimately, this film, like I said, to create a cult classic and to get the legs, that's an accomplishment. So good job,
good job, Kenny. Good job.
Well,
good job, Kenny. What do we know?
Well, I think I read that it was like the #1 most watched Halloween movie of all time. But
Yeah, I
mean,
think I read that somewhere.
but what does that mean? That means nothing.
That doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Roger Ebert.
Well, the curious is how much actual
Roger Ebert needs a hug.
That would be the curious part, right? Like how much actual like extra revenue this movie brought in, because I mean I know you get paid off of residuals and all that stuff, but I'd be curious to know the number. Like this has earned another $400 million in reruns. Like that would be reruns. Yeah. Nobody publishes those numbers, but if it's on every year, although on the Disney Channel they own it, so that wouldn't really help. But if it was on like NBC or something like that, that's where they would get some money. So
yeah, well, it's on Freeform. It's part of the 31 Days of Halloween.
I'm sure there's
so
a lot
of
purchases on Apple Plus and Amazon or Prime Video. I'm sure this thing is raking money.
Or I mean VHS, John, back when this came out.
VHS.
Yeah.
Well, it's rare to get this on VHS. It's very expensive.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is going to take us to our first list, and that's going to be our top 5 best Disney live action films. And, Disney has been obviously cranking up the live action films lately. But before you go into a lot of the modern ones, don't forget they've had a long library in history of live action films. And, this was actually a pretty tough list. There's some ones I really wanted to put on that I had to cut off. But, I think my list is really good. But like I said, there's some sad ones that I left off. Here's one film, guys, if you put it on your list, I promise you're going to lose, and that's The Lion King. If you put the quote-unquote live-action remake of The Lion King on your list, there is no live-action anything in that movie. It's all CGI.
I've never seen it. It just looked too weird to me.
I just want to say, if you want to anger the voting judges, don't pick a pure CGI film with no actual humans in it. That's not a live-action film.
Got it.
John's probably scrambling around
scrambling.
A replacement.
Not scrambling.
You need a new number one, John.
My list is good. I know my list is
good. John needs a new number one.
Yeah,
I had to leave a classic film off my list, so.
All right. Well, we started with Lauren, so we're going to start with John Bear. Can John Bear John Bear was on fire last episode. And if you guys missed...
I went with a John list on this. I didn't go what I thought were the best. I went what is good and meaningful to me too. So I'm going to start with number 6.
You want a healthy balance, but we'll see.
You're going to start with number 6?
Yeah. Number 6, which should be ranked number 6, because number 6 should be ranked top 1 or 2 of best Disney live action films. But I didn't put it on because it's not meaningful to me, but I know it's an amazing film. That's Mary Poppins. Right. Mary Poppins, I think, should be the number 1, maybe number 2 movie for all live action films in the Disney catalog. But it's not a John film. I do love it. I respect it. But I'll go into my top 5 now.
Same.
So number 5 for me. Number 5 for me is Cool Runnings.
Nice.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Film. Come on.
Absolutely.
Yes. Come on. Jamaican bobsled team.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme.
John Candy.
Don't you jump.
Yeah.
Bobsled time.
I changed it up, man. Yeah, just
Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. Jamaica, you can't believe Jamaica has a bobsled team.
One of those movies, I'm stopping everything I'm doing. If I see that movie on the background, I'm just going to start watching it.
No argument.
John, we've never watched that in our entire relationship. We've never watched Cool Runnings.
Yes.
I think we have a Wednesday night movie now, guys.
Yes.
I have red, green, and gold T-shirts that I break out just for Cool Running Night. So come on.
Yeah, I bought a Jamaican flag at some point in my life. Just seriously, because I loved Cool Runnings.
Okay,
I literally I speak with a Jamaican accent for like a day every time I watch that movie.
Yeah, you guys were watching Hocus Pocus. I was watching Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings.
Yeah, my list is totally different. Go ahead. Number 4.
Number 4, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
love it. It's in my top 5. Yes, it's my number 4. Wow. Yeah. We'll speak all day about this one though on this podcast. So I'm going to jump to number 3. Number 3 for me is a musical. It's Newsies. Newsies is because my wife, Lauren Cardiel, introduced it to me. I really didn't watch it. I remember in the distant background growing up, but I finally had to watch it again probably in my early 30s. Love it. Christian Bale's young dude tearing it up.
That's what you were doing in your early 30s? Watching Newsies?
Yeah.
That's what you were doing in your You lived a different life.
Yeah.
You lived a different life.
30s, Newsies. I mean, I was probably like 6 or 7, Belgian beers deep at that time watching Newsies. Okay. I was doing some adult things too, but Lauren loved it. She got me to watch it. I dig musicals. I couldn't believe that I missed this movie growing up because it's an amazing movie.
Nice.
There's so many ways or forms. All right, number 2. This is a new one. Just think it's epic, and I don't think you got as much respect as it deserves. That's Cruella. I think the new Cruella is fantastic. One of the best music supervised lists that I've seen in a movie in a very, very long time.
The one with Emma Stone, right?
Yeah, Emma Stone. It's an amazing. Just the soundtrack's awesome. The costume design is amazing. I think 10 out of 10 on costume design.
And fun fact, didn't you dress like Cruella for Halloween one year?
I have before.
We did. Oh no, I was like, yes, I did, but he did last year.
John did, yeah.
I have dressed like Cruella. Yeah, I pulled it off really well too. I don't know if we have pictures, Lauren might, for you.
We should do a side by side.
Yeah, we'll try and audience. We'll try and get a picture up there.
Yeah.
I look pretty good in it. Number 1, Remember the Titans.
Nice.
Easy choice. Young. I mean, Denzel goes off, and everyone's amazing at it. I literally hope one of my daughters is like Hayden Panettiere's character and just wants to be on my sideline on the football field, just out there on the brink of cussing, getting the team going and just loving the game that much.
Yeah,
but
I
don't know if we birthed those girls, but maybe
we might have. I think I got faith in one of them. They're gonna pick up the X's and O's. Yeah, okay. I got a little offensive coordinator in the house. She's ready to go.
Nice.
But dig it.
All right. Lauren.
Okay. Love it.
Okay, me. So yeah, I guess I just interpreted this list a little bit differently. So all mine are like modern, like Disney live action remakes. So I guess
say remakes. We said just live action. So
I know I didn't understand the assignment. Whoops. Okay. Number 5.
Sounds like you just got a point, John.
Yeah. Point goes to John.
Yeah, sounds like Cool Runnings really clinched the victory.
It did.
It did. I did not understand this assignment, and I even Googled it. So okay, number 5, Hocus Pocus, because of all the reasons I love it. Number 4, Cruella, for reasons that John mentioned as well. I think it was a really cool movie. Love Emma Stone. Love the acting. Love how they just brought that 101 Dalmatian movie to life. I think the costume designer actually won the Academy Award for best costumes on that movie. So costumes were amazing. Number 3, Mary Poppins. And I would even argue to say I love Mary Poppins, the original. And I even love the remake with Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda. My kids kind of gravitated toward the newer one, and that was definitely on repeat in this house for a long time. But I think any kid is going to gravitate towards the colors and the songs, and going in from live action to animation. So that's why that's my number 3. My number 2 is, again, I didn't understand the assignment, Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie.
I thought they did a really good job with it, but it did take a little bit of time to grow on me because one that's not on my list, and I know it's very controversial because you and I have talked about it, Paul. I thought another live action that was good but also bad was Beauty and the Beast, because literally with Beauty and the Beast, it's literally taken from the animation straight to live action, almost like word for word, scene for scene. So in that sense, I love Beauty and the Beast. So with Aladdin, it deviated from that. It was definitely not like word for word, like scene for scene. I
like Naomi Scott too. She's smoking hot.
Yeah, she's smoking hot. But I liked it.
Jasmine.
I liked it. It took me a little bit of time to warm up to Will Smith's portrayal, of the genie. But I liked it. Yeah. So it's also very popular with the family here. And my number 1, and I love this movie, and I watch it a lot with the kids, is Jungle Cruise.
Whoa.
I thought that was such a cool movie to take like a Disney ride, like a ride at Disneyland, and then to create like a full feature film out of it. I thought The Rock was amazing. I thought his comedic timing was awesome. I thought
Yeah.
The pairing between him and Emily Blunt, like their chemistry on screen was really awesome. And so I just love that movie so much. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did, but it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. My only issue with it, I just thought it was just way too CGI heavy. But besides that, like you're saying, I thought the story was good and the acting was incredible on it. But and a good story too. I thought it had a good story. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Before I forgot to award a point for the intro, and that of course is going to go to Lauren since she stole all of John's material. So Lauren is up 1-0 to start this game, and then for my list of the best Disney live action
point for the intro.
Yeah,
Sorry, John.
like your explanation while we're watching it.
John, you would never win that.
Remember, John, you just quoted all the fun facts that I wrote on the script. That's not how you win a point.
It's called plagiarism.
True. Yeah, you didn't even source me, John.
You didn't.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so number 5, and I had to include one like old school film of Disney just because, growing up, of course, like they're the classic family film, right? And so my favorite growing up was Swiss Family Robinson. They have the big tree at Disneyland, and I always just loved it. I actually watched it earlier this year, I believe, again, and I still really enjoy it. I remember the tiger, just a really, really great film. And like I said, had to include one old one, right? My number 4, John already mentioned it. Remember the Titans. Left side, strong side.
Wow.
Yeah, left side, strong side.
My number 3, sad nobody else put this, but the flying V formation.
Oh,
left,
the Mighty
right,
Ducks.
Geek left again.
Mighty Ducks, huh?
Mighty Ducks.
John mentioned it in a phone call that we had earlier today. John said Mighty Ducks.
I don't know how anybody else is not quacking here, but Mighty Ducks. I mean, they built a hockey team out of it, so just a great film. My number 2, also surprised no one put it, but National Treasure. And I just love that film. Great score, Nicolas Cage in his prime, great cinematography. I mean, the whole movie, just it's really up my alley because I love history, and they're able to build a fictional film out of a lot of history, and I absolutely love the film, the topic, the whole nine, even like the sequel as well. And number 1, and shame on you guys,
shame on us all.
One number 1 Disney film, and you mentioned it. It's built off of a ride, but it's Pirates of the Caribbean. It's the number 1 grossing franchise for Disney of all time, besides Marvel, of course, but they bought that. But Pirates of the Caribbean is just a pure Disney property that crushed it. And they made 7 films out of it. I mean, yeah. And I remember seeing the first one. I did not think the first one was ever going to be good. I was just like, oh my goodness. And I saw it just because I felt obligated to. And I was absolutely blown away on how good it was and how good Johnny Depp was. Of course, it's Jerry Bruckheimer, who was my favorite producer at the time. Still one of my favorite producers. And again, I just thought the movie crushed it on so many different levels. The score, cinematography, everything. So that is my number 1. So if I were giving
the list, I get it.
If I were giving points out, I would easily give my list. But I can't
easily.
Of course.
But I'm gonna give John Bear the list on this one. John Bear, I liked his list more. It's easy to get a point when you put Cool Runnings on yours. Cool Runnings was like the one I left out that I really wanted to include, and I was trying to find a way to fit it on there, and I just couldn't. I couldn't fit it on because of all the ones I listed above. And
you could have done a number 6 like John did.
Yeah, I could have cheated like John Bear.
So
I wasn't cheating. I gave you my top 5.
Wait,
my top 5.
What was your number 6?
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
All right.
Yeah. A couple of honorable mentions that I had that, again, I really wanted to include these. Like Flight of the Navigator was one I really wanted to include. One of my childhood favorites growing up. Rocketeer was another one.
Rocketeer.
I really wanted to put that one on there. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Some like the older school ones, like Journey of the Natty Gann, or Journey of Natty Gann. Sorry, there's no the.
Yeah.
White Fang, Pete's Dragon,
The Princess Diaries, The Game Plan. Like, there's a lot.
Yeah. Love Bug. Love Bug was a movie we used to watch.
Herbie Fully Loaded.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
Yeah. Jungle Book. And Miracle. Miracle is another one I really wanted to include.
No, I wanted to put Miracle on there too.
Yeah. So anybody else have any other honorable mentions?
No, I think John deserves it because he put Newsies on there. So thank you, baby.
Well, Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings is why you got the point. It wasn't because of Newsies, just FYI. I'm
Okay, Pa.
just going to be very, very upfront there. Okay. Moving on to our next category. So we have a 1-1 tie here, John and Lauren. And now we're going to move to our next category, which is "And the Oscar Goes To." And this can go to a cast or crew member who performed the best. This did not win any Academy Awards, so there's no real-life awards that people have to worry about. But I'm really curious on where this category is going to go because, you know. So I'm going to start with Lauren on this one. Lauren, who gets your Oscar?
Oh, I know. She's going to take mine. I know you're going to take mine. I know it.
No, I don't think so. I have like 3 people that get the Oscar.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're not following rules today. Okay, like it.
Okay.
Well, I'll say Thora Birch. I'll say her because
nice.
I think we talked about this when we watched the film together. For as young as she was, like she really had a lot of, she was able to keep up, and I thought she had a lot of cute little moments, and I thought she was sassy, and I thought that she was sassy. She was mature. She was emotional when she needed to show emotion. So I thought, when I look at her and I think like, oh, could like my kids have done something like that? Or could they do something like that? So I thought she really held, don't shake your head at me.
Maybe like the Nickelodeon Teen Choice Award, but an Academy Award?
Give that girl a surfboard and give her an Academy. Get out of here, John.
Yeah.
Who's your pick? Who's your pick?
Yeah, who's your pick, Jammer?
If they would have give Larry Bagby character Ice a little bit more screen time as Ice, I think he would have came through. But he only got a couple scenes in there, so I can't go with him. Lauren, I'm going to tear up the name so I don't make fun. It's Kathy Najimy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that truly is like I think that's a true like if she was nominated for supporting actor. People be okay with it. It was just a great role. Like she acted the whole time. There's no quick cuts. Most of the time she's in the background of every scene, just adding flavor and adding just layer and composition to the scenes.
Yeah.
She's going around barking like a dog at one point for some reason. I don't know, but there's a character makeup that she actually dove into, like this background that she gave her character all these layers that I dig. And like, she's constantly like going around muttering and repeating words. And just, she's that little like lapdog of a character. Bette Midler, the whole. She did amazing. She did an amazing job.
Well, I'll say this, and I'm skipping ahead just a scotch. But when we talk about like alternative castings and things like that, when I was going through everybody and I was thinking about like, okay, like who could have played like Mary, I found a really hard time trying to find in my mind like who else could have played this role. And I know that they said, and we'll talk about it, someone else that was offered the role.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I just don't think that there was anyone else that could have played it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
she
definitely fit it. And I don't remember if this was before or after Sister Act. I think it was after. But she obviously crushed it in Sister Act. So
yeah,
interesting.
She's good. Love her.
So mine, I actually am with Lauren on this one. I picked Thora Birch. I like the kids acting. Even the parents, I like their acting, but the witches, I wanted them toned down a little bit. Like they're not comedians, and when you're not a comedian, sometimes the comedy is playing it straight, and then that's how you get the laughter. There's a lot of cases in history of film where a traditional actor is nominated. They end up being funny, but they play it more straight, and they don't try to be funny because you're either funny or you're not. But you don't ever want to try to be funny. And I just wanted all of them to take it. They were here. I wanted them more here because let the kind of story speak for itself and be the comedy. So Thora Birch. So Lauren, you're gonna get the point on this one. Good job.
Wow.
You're taking a 2-1 lead.
Wow. Because you picked a cute, easy character that they had to cut. So, oh my God, never mind. I'll stop.
Yeah, just stop. Bye.
So our next category is the Get Me RA Gold Award for different castings, and unfortunately, there's not going to be any points awarded because there's really not a lot of.
Yeah.
There's no choices here. I mean, there's only.
I have a good list. Like who would be my list? Like I have a couple.
Oh, like you want to cast from scratch?
Yeah. Well, the only one.
Kid John, if you can do that, I'll give a point.
Yeah, but I'm cheating if I do it because it's the same name everyone drops. So
no, let's do it.
We can do it.
Curious.
No. If Lauren wants to do it, we'll do it.
Okay.
So, let me read the casting notes first, and then John, you'll give yours. So, the role of Max Dennison was originally offered to Leonardo DiCaprio, but he turned it down to appear in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Sounds like a good call choice there.
Arnie.
Point Leo on that one.
Good job, Leo.
The Devil's Dog was actually Kathy Najimy's. Fun fact, brother and sister Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall, both successful directors, were played husband and wife in this, and they're, again, brother and sister. Actually, I thought they were father-sister. I forgot. Yeah, they're brother-sister.
They were scene stealers. They were really good. They almost got my awards for the Oscar for supporting.
Gary Marshall came to my school and did a whole presentation. I think it was when Princess Diaries came out, maybe. But he was talking to they did kind of like a behind the scenes with him. But yeah, he incredible man. Rosie O'Donnell, who Lauren was referencing earlier, was originally offered the role of Mary Sanderson. She claimed on her blog that she turned down the offer to work with Bette Midler because she didn't want to be a scary witch. Don't know what that means, but.
Don't know what that means either.
And then Jennifer Lopez auditioned for the role of Sarah Sanderson.
That's interesting.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been trash.
Well, there's kind of just basic facts. She's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it's like
you can't really play a white, female from Salem. I mean, this is a timepiece. There's not really Puerto Ricans and
maybe like Native American descendant into witch. Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it doesn't really quite fit. Oh, I guess maybe, but that there was no. It didn't work in Salem, so that wouldn't work.
J-Lo can do anything that J-Lo wants.
She can, except for a historical white woman role.
That money, though. I can't.
There's nothing wrong with the role being for a white woman because that's what the time period called for. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in Woman King, if you cast a white woman in, people would be up in arms for that. So it's okay that a role is specifically for a white.
I personally don't know how ethnically accepting covens were back in those days, so I just haven't done the research to tell you.
And then the last
research, John.
The last one is Cloris Leachman was the producer's choice, the first choice to play Winifred, which is Bette Midler's role. So interesting stuff. So with that, Lauren, okay. So the roles are open casting in that time period, 1993. Who would you cast?
So I just broke it down, by the three witches. So for Winifred, which was Bette Midler, that's how I broke it down.
You get to pick one, and then you can tell your other two after we get the point system.
Excuse me. So Winifred, I picked either Meryl Streep or Susan Sarandon.
Damn it, that's mine.
I went first.
No points.
Meryl Streep, she has those singing chops. She went on to sing in or to act in Into the Woods, which is another musical, and she played a witch in that movie. So I thought
that other kind of horror movie too. She did Death Becomes Her.
Oh yeah, Death Becomes Her. Yeah.
No, it's good choice.
I thought Meryl Streep or Susan Sarandon because I think I was kind of thinking like the red hair and kind of she was a little bit older in the 90s, so
not than Bette Midler. They're about the same age.
Well, no, I know, but I was thinking like older, like I wasn't gonna think of like a younger actress.
Right.
John, can I go on to the other witches, or would you like to interject your choices?
You might as well. We're not getting scored on this one, so go ahead.
Oh, we are.
Paul said we were.
You're getting picked for your group, not just one pick.
So Sarah, I actually have a couple. Sarah, I have Alicia Silverstone, Reese Witherspoon, or Drew Barrymore as my picks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the first one again?
Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, Alicia Silverstone.
This is 93, though.
I think she was a 90s actress. Clueless was in the 90s. She would have been a younger witch. It would have been a younger choice.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
No.
And for Mary, which again, it was hard, but I thought if I have to pick a couple of actresses, I put Gina Davis or Joan Cusack. And I actually think that Joan Cusack would be like my pick over Gina Davis. But Joan. I think Joan would have been really good.
Interesting. Okay, John Bear?
What? Do I have to go now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Lauren. Meryl Streep, Winifred, that could have been interchangeable. She may have even been better. I don't know. I didn't expand on that. So let me come from the cuff. I don't know. Sigourney Weaver.
Oh yeah, that was in
as Mary. That could be fun. I don't know. Who else could be Sarah? I don't know back then. I like your choices. I wish I would have thought this one out, but I was just going to say Meryl Streep, for Winifred. Not fair, Lauren.
Yeah, well, I guess this kind of becomes easy to pick who the point goes to. So
I'm sorry, when I'm handed a script and I have to do the research, I do it. So.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And I did it while I was at a soccer game, so.
All right, well, Lauren's going to take a commanding 3-1 lead with that.
How dare you.
And now we're going to move to It's Not Your Fault, the most powerful scene that gets you emotional or sad. So this one's a tough one.
Yeah.
I have no scene, guys. I don't have a scene.
What?
Nothing made me emotional or sad. So I will.
I'm pretty sure me and Lauren have the same scene. There's one scene that, of course, you should be getting emotional and sad.
I'm going to, of course, abstain from this category.
Okay, let's say it on the count of 3, John.
So
Ready?
John Barry, you start first.
Okay.
This is part of the rotation. So John Barry, you go first.
All right, it's Binks's last meow in the last few minutes of the film when Binks breathes out and gives one more cry and meow and eyes closed and goes off. And then, of course, Danny Thorburch's character a couple minutes later realizes he dies. And it's pivotal. It's gut-wrenching to see that Binks is finally gone and goes to the other side and they didn't get to say goodbye. But then out of nowhere, his spirit comes alive and he's there saying goodbye to them, walking towards the gate, and he sees a little image of his sister. So his sister comes walking and calling to him, and they walk together in eternal paradise. Come on.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Teary-eyed moment, for sure.
It's good.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Lauren, go ahead, Lauren, what do you got?
Not like the same thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to, explain it like John did, but yeah, same thing. I mean, and I think, too, that's a lot for kids to take on, losing a pet, right? Because that little talking cat, became her pet. So, you're attached to your pet and then it dies and all that stuff. So,
I mean,
John, you can have the point.
E.T.'s way harder. Yes, John will get the point. So it's now 3-2. Awesome. So this will lead us into our next list, which is the top 5 best Halloween films. And audience, I looked up on several different lists. What people call a Halloween film is all over the place. And so ultimately, I made a rule that we're going to go off the IMDb list minus the TV shows, of course, because I don't know why there's TV shows listed on a movies list, but whatever.
There was no such rule.
But anyway, so that's what ultimately we chose from. So all our answers will be on that list, theoretically. So with that, Lauren, you are going to start this list since John led the last one.
Okay, just like everything you said, I had a hard time. Halloween films, it was just all running into one messy. Anyways, so number 5, The Craft. Love that movie. Don't watch it as much as I want to, but just super cool.
When she shakes her hair and changes colors.
When she shakes her hair, just love it. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. You watch that and you're like, wait, is that real? Let's try that at our next sleepover. So love that. Okay, thank you.
It works.
So love that
we all
movie.
know this.
Never tried it. Number 4, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm-hmm.
It just has all my favorite things in one film. It has costumes, it has camp, it's a musical. So I just think it's one of those timeless films that, you know, there's places that you can go to dress up and watch the film in the background, and they act it out on stage. So I think it's just one of those really cool, like, timeless films. Okay. Number 3, Beetlejuice. Love that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's just such great acting from everyone all around. A young Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, a young Michael
watch that movie
Keaton
again.
and Winona Ryder. That could be like an upcoming Wednesday night movie. I love that movie.
Winona forever.
It makes for a lot of really great Halloween costumes too. So I love that film. Oh, and we can't forget Moira Rose. What is it? Catherine. What is her name? I'm Catherine O'Hara. No. Yep. No. Plays the mom. She's a scene stealer. Number 2, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nice.
Big Disney family, Nightmare Before Christmas. Love the ride at Disneyland. The kids, shockingly, like, it's a little dark, you know, it's a Tim Burton, so it's a little dark. It's, you know, the animation, I thought it would be a little hard for the kids to kind of like stay focused with that film, but they actually like it. And it's, you know, it's great music and it's a great film.
Yeah.
And
I actually watched it this morning while I was editing. So.
Oh, nice. And of course, my number 1's Hocus Pocus. So
nice.
Love it.
All right. That's a solid Halloween list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
John Bear, what do you got?
Number 1 Halloween music video of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
I did see that on. Somehow that's included on a movie list.
13 minutes in 1983. Yes, got to throw that out there. But my top 5 starts with the 1966 classic. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Good. I know it's a little, it's a little short film, only like about 30 minutes, 26 minutes, but it's amazing. I love it. You know, I got a buddy nicknamed The Great Pumpkin because of my dad, so love watching it every year.
Nice.
Your nickname is The Great Pumpkin?
No, Coach Cardiel named one of our friends The Great Pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'll tell you who that is later.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but it's great. I watch it every year. It's a good thing. Number 4 is going to shock a lot of people. Number 4 Halloween movie for me is Karate Kid. I do watch it around Halloween season just because of come on, we all attempted to dress up as a shower at some point in our life.
That qualifies.
Or people have, put on, the skeleton outfits and run amok on Halloween because of that movie.
I've never seen it.
It's a great Halloween flick, man, and it's cool, and it's a classic on so many aspects of movies.
Yeah,
that's my number 4. My number 3 is Hocus Pocus. Love it. Obviously, we're doing a podcast about it, but there's a couple movies I rank ahead of it. And
I'm changing the locks at the house.
Yes.
By the way.
Nope. Number 2, and because the movie still scares and freaks me out, and he's freaking more relevant than ever, is Halloween, the classic Halloween from 1978. Michael Myers is a scary mother effer, and the fucker can't seem to die, and I think Jamie Lee Curtis is going to get him finally in this last one. We'll see, but if there's money to be made on another movie, they'll figure out how to write it, and maybe he ain't gone yet. But the original Halloween is scary as shit. Dig it, love it. To my number 1 film for Halloween, and it's a cerebral film that
I know what you're going to say.
Yes, you know it. A lot of people need to watch this film because they haven't yet. It is a classic. It acting is phenomenal. Stop it. Go ahead, say it, Lauren.
Donnie Darko
is the number 1 movie of Halloween films of all time from 2001. Jake's best role, like freaking young Jake Gyllenhaal, you knew the dude is a stud when he comes through on this movie with his acting capabilities. He goes somewhere else into a whole different realm of psychology to pull this role off.
I need to watch that one, yeah.
The cast is
I need to rewatch
phenomenal.
It. I started watching it with John one time.
I know the storyline is off the deep storyline is off the deep end. I know it. Is it a dream state? Is it, psychosis? Is it a time, time travel? What is it? And that's what makes this movie great, because you got to truly figure it out and draw your opinion towards it. Music is bar none on the way they place music into this movie. Scene selection, shot selection, everything's amazing. Please watch this movie, everyone. It is the number 1 best Halloween film of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I need to check that one out. All right, so
Yeah.
my list is a little different than your guys's. Shocker. My number 5, I chose Halloween. Like John mentioned, it's called Halloween. How could it not be on the list? Obviously, it spawned many sequels. I'm not necessarily personally a huge fan of it. I don't even know if I've really seen it or seen it the whole way through. But
Me too.
but again, it's one of those films. Like at least I gotta appreciate it because it is a classic. My number 4, and I love this movie growing up, and this one is kind of a classic Halloween movie-ish, and that's Monster Squad. In the mid '80s. Yeah, it's a great little film with all the classic monsters in it. And I believe there's an actual Halloween scene as well because that's how the monsters are able to kind of walk through the city. But it's got a really cool story. I wouldn't mind if that movie got remade and updated because I think it's got a nice premise. It's kind of got a Hocus Pocus premise where it's like it takes kind of real historical stuff and kind of combines it in real life. And yeah, they're very similar in terms of structure. My number 3, I mentioned it earlier, but it's Sleepy Hollow. Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. That film is just fantastic, and again, how he was able to take a short story and make that into a full film, really, really tricky. But I thought he did a great job with it. My number 2, I'm not necessarily happy that I put this on my list, but it kind of works, and it is on that IMDb list. But it's It. It is one of my favorite films growing up. It's one of the scariest
I have to put
movies.
that.
The film or the made for TV series?
I'll include both because they're both great. I mean, again, the original one is where my heart is, but the new one is still freaky as hell, and I love the story. I read the book when I was like in 8th grade, which is not appropriate.
Book is amazing.
Not
appropriate.
And my number 1, and again, also not happy that I put this because I don't actually consider this a Halloween film at all, but it was on the list, and it's my favorite movie on that list, and that's Ghostbusters. And
it's great.
There's ghosts, so I guess that's how we're including that here, but
yeah,
sure.
I'm not happy about it, guys, but I could not have Ghostbusters on this list if it's there. So, I wanted to include E.T., kind of for the same reason as John picked. Like there's a classic Halloween scene, But what else? Oh, I had Ernest Scared Stupid because that's an actual like Halloween film. That movie is all right.
Where did Hubby's Halloween rank on your list?
Yeah,
Hubby's
Lost Boys.
I like the movie.
I want to include Lost Boys on here.
Lost Boys, I want to throw on there.
Yeah.
I just don't consider it Halloween.
No,
that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
And Addams Family. Addams Family is another one.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my that's my Thanksgiving movie though.
Yeah. So that's what I have. Anybody else have any other honorable mentions?
Just throwing some good ones out there now. We can go off that list. The IMDb list goes off the deep end. It's just anything associated with Halloween.
I saw Jurassic Park on the list. I was telling you guys.
Yeah.
Like how's
Jurassic Park
a Halloween film? But
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna give my point to John Bear here.
Tied it up.
So yeah, we got a tie ball game 3-3, and that's gonna lead us into our next category. The meatloaf. Here's the soundbite. That's actually Lauren, the soundbite you just heard on an actual podcast where she yelled for her mom. But yeah, this is the scene that makes you laugh or feel good. So we started with Lauren. So John, you'll start this one off.
All right. So this is like the scene that I like, and it's a pretty long scene. It's when the sisters show up to Gary and Penny Marshall's house, and they see Satan at the doorstep, and they yell out "Master!" and Gary Marshall's like "At your service," and just plays into it. It plays into the whole scene where he invites them in the house, and they're just like awestruck to think that this dude is actually the devil himself.
Yeah.
Penny Marshall. Go in the house and just I love the movie. Penny's in there, acting like a good old strong housewife doing her thing.
So what's your quote? What's your quote? Master? Yeah, and Gary Marshall just plays right into it, says "At your service." Okay. And it sets up the whole scene. Okay. Yeah. No, well, remember the category is scene that makes you laugh or feel good. Yeah.
Not quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So Sarah does her thing. Sarah has her skirt in her hand, slow dancing with a thigh up on the dude, trying to do her thing. Mary's in there discovering what a remote control is.
Okay.
So and then yeah, they all do their thing, you know. Bette's
okay, in the kitchen because that's mine too.
Okay, Lauren, what do you have?
Chamber.
Okay, well, I thought it was quote. Okay, but quote / scene that makes you feel good.
No. It's the scene. The quote is the next category.
Oh well, mine is part of it. But okay. that is okay. Well, I'll just say my quote too because that's like part of the scene. So again, mine is exactly the same as John's. I love Penny Marshall's character. I think she's so she's just so chill with like 3 girls just strolling into her house. She's sitting on the recliner, friggin' cigarette in mouth, bathrobe, sponge curlers, and when she looks at them and she says, "Aren't you broads a little too old to be trick-or-treating?" That's just like that's my favorite part.
Nice. Nice. Awesome.
Well, John.
That's your quote?
John.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm going to give John the point.
I'm going to give John the point. Because he wouldn't stop talking.
Only because he kind of went first. Yeah, he kind of stepped on your toes a little bit. That's why we wrote.
You did the same thing earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
My scene, it's kind of so it's a scene, but my favorite part is actually when they cut back to it. But you know, the parents are at this party like the whole night, and like the mom is like Madonna and dancing the whole time, and I just imagine like the mom is just trashed out of her mind and dancing, and so but again, it's like it wasn't really the initial part, but it's later like where they're all dealing with stuff, and they're like, I don't, where's mom and dad? They might still be partying, and then they cut back, and they're just like dancing like crazy. I just imagine 2 parents just getting hammered on Halloween.
Yeah.
So that part actually kind of made me
laugh. Never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is going to be tough for Lauren to come back on, but our next category is line please. What's your favorite quote? There can also you can give 2 quotes. You can give your favorite quote, and then also like an underrated quote that's kind of under the radar. So Lauren, we'll start with you, I guess. But you kind of already maybe gave your favorite quote, so I don't know if you want to give an underrated one as well.
Well, I guess my other favorite quote, and I'm gonna butcher it because I can't remember, but I can't remember it like verbatim. But it's when Winifred, it's like the opening scene, and she like opens the windows to the cottage, and she like takes a deep breath, and she's like, "Oh, another glorious day."
Yeah.
And
how unfortunate.
How unfortunate, yeah.
Okay, and I'll read it since it's actually, if you did research, it's right here. But, oh, look, another glorious morning makes me sick.
Makes me sick.
There we go.
That's how I feel every single morning I wake up in the house.
Dang!
Wow.
Who are you married to?
Well, to get the kids ready for school. That's how I feel.
Wow. I wake up with a smile, skipping.
Yeah, because you don't get the kids ready for school, John. So skip right out the front door.
I help you.
Goodbye. Read your quote.
All right, John Bear, what do you got?
I got a couple. There's the classic, but I feel like if I'm going to throw the classic quote, I got to, throw a second one out there. But the classic quote in the beginning, they do say it twice in the movie, but when Max is like, "Oh, come on, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus." Right. And then, of course, later, Winifred, when she's flying on a broom, says the same thing back to him, like, "It's just a bunch of hocus pocus." Yeah. But that's the fun one to play with that line. But I'll give credit to Thora Birch because she had like a cool little ice to the side throwaway line in this one. Is right when they after light the black candle or the black flame candle, Max is like, "What happened?" And Thora Birch's character says, "A virgin lit the candle," and just kind of throws it away with sarcasm his way. And that made me crack up. To me, that was one of her better lines. I know you guys gave her a lot of respect, and it was due earlier, but that was a cool line when Thor throws it. She had a lot of good one-liners, but that was one of my ones that I remember.
Yeah.
The one where she talks about yabos. That's also a really
yabos.
Good.
I think what do you
Max,
Lauren.
Call those?
Lauren, you just stepped on my quote because that was mine. And Allison says,
read it.
I like your costume, Danny. Thank you. I really like yours too. Of course, I couldn't wear anything like that because I don't have any. What do you call them, Max? Yabos?
Yabos.
Max like your yabos. In fact, he loves them. So I thought that one crushed it. That one stood out like right away. That
one is yabos.
New one. So I'm gonna give John Bear the point just because Lauren, you gotta work on your presentation a little bit. You gotta work on
okay.
Wow.
You gotta kind of wrap it up a little bit. You know what I mean? You're giving me a birthday gift in a Target bag. You know what I mean? Go throw it in a box. Put a little bow on it.
Yeah. Come on.
All right. So John's up 5-3.
Birthday gift in a Target bag. Fuck off.
Yes.
Literally, fuck off.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There goes we just jumped up to a mature rating on our podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so the next category, I don't know if you guys have done this category yet, but this is a new one. It's called Great Shot. Your favorite shot in the film, or or an underrated kind of camera you like. I don't think there's a ton in this film. This is kind of basically shot, kind of almost theatrically shot, but like playwright shot. But John, wait, who started the last one? Lauren, you started the last one, so John, you start this one.
Who knows?
I got multiple, but I'll just say them both, Lauren.
Just say your first. Say your only one.
Okay, I'll say my only one. End of the movie, maybe like 30 minutes towards the end, and Max's dumbass opens up the book, and when the Sanderson sisters are about to die, and the light gleams, and they catch the light, and the Sanderson sisters got to book it out the house to get to that book, and they realize they don't have any rooms anymore. So you got Bette's character hopping on like just a new school regular broom.
Yeah.
And then you got Sarah comes out next on a mop and starts to fly on a mop.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Mary comes out and she has to ride a vacuum cleaner. It's just that last scene of them taking off on a new age broom, a mop, and a vacuum cleaner. I just love it.
Nice. Okay, Lauren, what do you have?
Great job, John. Oh, my God. My favorite shot is when the witches are, I think they're coming out and they realize that the dirt road is now concrete.
Yeah.
It's all paved roads. And then once they realize that, okay, we can step on this road, and then all three of them are lined up, and they start doing their little thing. Like, that's just my favorite.
Nice.
I love watching them strut down the street.
That was my other one. Give Lauren the point.
Nice.
Get out of here.
So
You're not
mine is at the end when Bette Midler turns to stone. I thought, especially for the time period, the CGI in that one looked pretty good. And I actually like the company Rhythm and Hues. They also created the CGI Thackeray Binks, and they went to make sure the facial features were those of an actual cat. But the studio found it too realistic, notably the fangs and teeth, and felt he might be too scary. So to make him friendlier, Rhythm and Hues made his fangs smaller and less pointed. But Rhythm and Hues is a pretty big VFX house. But I didn't realize they went back that far. I worked with them back in the day. But yeah, I didn't realize they've been there for longer than that. So that was crazy. So, yeah, I'll give Lauren the point on that one, like her explanation. So we'll go 5-4 now. And we're on our last category, guys. So if Lauren guesses, we're in overtime. And if John wins it, he will cinch the victory. But this is Director's Chair. And what would you change about the film? So I believe we're starting with Lauren here, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't change much. There's just like, I guess a couple of things like explanation things. So like, I thought it was really funny how when they go into the Sanderson Museum for the first time and like the glass case is around the book. So, right, like you have to, like the glass case is like fully protected of the book. Yet he was able to walk in and just like light the candle. Like there's like, why wasn't there a glass case for the candle? Like he was able to just walk up and just light it and like,
that's a good point.
Be done. So that was that. And then like, the cat Binks could obviously talk, to the young kids and things like that. But when he was trying to like get his dad's attention, he couldn't, he had no voice then.
Oh, wait. So. There's a note on that. Although not specified, it makes sense that Binks can't speak until the black flame candle has been.
Yeah, I did read that, but I mean, you really have to like think. Maybe she could have added that into her spell, like, so that it was more understood by the audience.
Sure.
Those are my two things.
John Bear, what do you got?
I like what Lauren said. There should have been a damn security guard out there. If that's a one night of the year on a full moon or whatever, and a virgin lights a candle, that shit can go wrong. Just put a security guard out there. Like, why was there no one to protect, no alarm system? That's kind of funky.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially because, like they're teaching in school.
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, well, if you're, someone's got to be a little paranoid, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No police presence really in the whole movie. I mean, I know the fire engines at one point, but
oh, the fake
really,
cop.
Like if it's a crazy Salem town, like you'd expect
the fake
more.
Cop.
Yeah, the fake cop. I thought, what was it? The zombies character. I thought there was a little bit of cheese to that, where I see why he was needed a little bit, but Billy, but kind of funky, like when his fingers get run over at the sewer. And
it was
chop it off.
It was a little clunky. He was clunky.
Yeah, it was clunky and corny.
Yeah.
It didn't seem completely necessary. But I really, really genuinely like this film. Like I felt like I'd be nitpicky to force anything at this point to change too much about it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, maybe another dance number. I'd throw another one on there if they could make it work. Some more music would be freaking awesome.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, that's another good one too, because like they just have kind of the one song.
Mm-hmm.
And
you have Bette Midler. Like, why wouldn't you utilize that?
Use your voice.
And I thought it was kind of weird that she went into full song there. Yeah, I like that. All right,
like
John.
More Bette Midler.
Yeah.
More Bette Midler singing. More Sarah Jessica Parker cleavage. Like, there's so many things they could have expanded upon. It just.
Well, John, you're going to get the point
Parker
for that one
annoying.
for more cleavage. Good job on that one. Yeah, I already mentioned mine. Like I said, I just thought I just thought they kind of broke the cardinal rule of, if you don't have actually funny people, let them play more normal. And
yeah,
I think it could have appealed to maybe a broader audience. But then again, like I said, it's a cult classic also, so it's kind of hard to make my point too. So, but John, good job. Since you are victorious, we need you to select a new film that to do it on. I have a suggestion.
We weren't bickering. Okay.
I have a suggestion for you. But you had it on one of your lists, and there's a new Halloween film coming out.
Yes, we could do the 1978 classic Halloween. That's
okay, I like that, John.
choice.
I'm glad you came up with that on your own volition.
Yeah, we redid this together. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining today to do this Hocus Pocus podcast. You guys are both welcome to do the review of Hocus Pocus 2 when that comes out, and which comes out next week, September 30th on disneyplus. And if you guys haven't seen John and Lauren on some other episodes, they were also on Princess Bride and Toy Story. Am I missing any other ones that you guys are on? Just those two, right?
Just for me, those two.
Yeah. Lauren was also on Lightyear. What year wasn't?
Super DC Superhero Pets.
Oh, DC League of Super Pets. Yeah. So you can also catch Lauren on DC League of Super Pets review. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. We're on all the top podcast networks: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and you can also catch us on YouTube. Make sure you comment below if there's other movies that you guys want to see. Please comment below and make sure you subscribe. And with that, guys, that is a cut. Thanks, guys.